So now I'm interested in the downtrend. The idea of touching it. See if it wants to break when we get there. It's like in a little expanding wedge before the response to the trend. Still plenty of points up towards it though. The red yellow line below too, and it's also at a 188, so keep that in mind. Here's the red yellow line and the 188 200 combo. Nice response. So far so good. Yeah, after being so bored for so long, it's literally like smoking out every single one of the B points, and you know, all of them like this. Buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. And the ATR dropped off a little bit. It's still high, 18. So tons of points to be captured on the tiny little B points, and all with the aspirations of getting exposure to that top trend line. And it's let me get a pretty decent position going, and I got off at all those little B points in there right there. And it's all been from the same level that I was literally just mentioning, the 188 200 and the red yellow line. Those two things are working hand in hand right now. I mean, I took off enough profit to make sure this trade is safe, obviously, and we could make a right shoulder that could look like a retest to the most recently broken trend. But obviously, holding out for the major B point above is the name of the game, and that's a total of 175 points if we could get there, which is great. So yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. You know, this is what I was waiting for, the entire 11 low zone style environment. We hit the red yellow line and bounced off of it with absolute precision. The 188 200 insinuated that the move could be large, like 175 points to the B point, and there's even B points past it, so it could be a fucking amazing move. It sets the tone for days to come, the weeks to come. It could be a great move. We'll see. Yep. Something tells me that this is an institutional move, and they're taking their time with it too. So I did it. Today's a day of patience, and that patience translated into action at the right spot is perfection. I'm looking for the consolidation to come to an end soon, and I want to see that other red yellow line up there again too. So that's like doubling this entire move to the upside. Be very impressed with that. Just collecting people on the short term, basically. This is the collection point. We've managed to come down and get some pretty big orders, almost at the 61 of the entire move, but nobody should have been buying anywhere close to this area. The break of the trend basically has been overlapped at the 61, leaving B points above untested. And I love it because it's kind of like a barren wasteland in terms of volume. There's tons of movement, but not a lot of people are trying again after they give up. Weak minded, like since the top up here, which is fine because people shouldn't be really going long so late after the value. The value was buying into the 188 200 and buying into the red yellow line. Not sure what anyone else would want to do though. You know, I bought into many of the different pullbacks along the way, but only because I did it correctly to begin with, or else I would not have done that. The load up point? Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. They just collected all those fucking idiots down there, and now we're on track again. Nice response to the 61 too, and they allowed the 61 to work like that because so many average people gave up. Today it takes patience, and it's a very serious day for the institutions with such a high ATR. Still maintaining too. 18. I'm under the impression that the institutions actually want people to provide more volume to them. That's totally an institution right there. Moving that market like that? Oh my god. And it's none of our volume. Like, you can look at MNQ and NQ volume all day. It does not fucking matter. Doesn't matter. Zero. Doesn't matter at all. Because none of that movement was any of the contracts anyone trades in here. Movement comes from some other volume, not this volume. Funny too, because there's like barely any people trying to take profit at the B point, which makes me think we'll get there easily, and not many people will be able to benefit from it because they're freaking all trying to trade some other way. And I'm like, I don't get it. Whatever they're doing, just I don't see it working though. Reminds me of a wolf in a hen house. Somebody let the fox into the hen house. There's the B point. That was a fucking juicy trade right there. More size on that than I have had on anything in a while. I didn't even get the best price. And now we're back on track. Back on track, ladies and gentlemen. B points up there. I guess I can mark it. I didn't even think to mark it, but whatever. These other ones up top though, ooh, if we're starting the journey to those ones, like that's a huge, huge payday. Like this one's great, yeah, but like, geez, we break that red yellow line for real, we could go. Like, think about what we've been doing to that poor red yellow line, eh? Attack from the top, attack from the bottom, attack from the bottom, attack from the top, attack from the bottom. I'm like, dude, we're going to break that shit and it's going to fly like no tomorrow. And it's probably going to go through the weekend as everyone else is wondering. And I'm like, nah, man, they're going to make it very difficult for everyone around here. And everyone's going to give up because it was so hard. I'm going to hold through the weekend a little bit, not a lot. And I'm going to hedge it too. I'm looking at trying to develop a hedge, and I still have some to sell off along the way there too. I think that buying into these little dips and then holding them through all-time high will be more valuable than catching any dump. And I'm like, that's the way it's always been though. It's always been like that.
So, like, how come now you would want to hold and not any of the other days?
It's not necessarily like that. I've seen how it started this domain, and I like the way that they're investing into it. It makes me want to be with them. But I'm not holding to try and get overnight gains. I'm holding so that I can keep my position from the bottom. Because when I take a hedge trade at the end of the day, right before the close, it's going to make it so that any profit that my position makes will be like, it'll be flat. Like whatever NQ makes, MNQ will lose. But what's funny is the slow and steady wins the race kind of thing right now. That's what we're doing. And I can just see that the institutions have created a domain where most people will think it's bearish, think it's bearish, think it's bearish, think it's bearish because it went down so much. And then, this 11 low zone took most of their time. So 9:30 to 12 was just anyone trying to go long was wrong unless they managed out of it with a profit. So it was all down to trade management all the way till 12 o'clock. Every long trade was a loser unless it was sold for a profit. If it was held, it was ultimately destined to be a loser, which is profound. And then it's almost like, okay, we got them. None of them are there. None of them are looking. None of them are paying attention. And then look at how they moved it. 175 fucking points. At a 61 along the way that allowed for even more accumulation. I want to see this go all the way to the 261 and fail it. Like, I'm cool if it goes from the 261 to the 188 and uses this area here to chop between the 261 and 188, and that'll be fine because it could look like a little inverse head and, well, not little by any mean, but it could look like that. You know what I mean? And that would be good. Like, all it would do is go from 261, right, to 188, and it could look like yellow line to red yellow line, and then we break on all cylinders going higher. That would be the best case scenario. I'm like, really? 261 and it fails? So, okay. So we get to the 61, we fail that up to the red yellow line. The red yellow line is the 188. Oh, shit, eh? The bottom was the red yellow line and also a 188? The top is now a 188 and a red yellow line, which makes me want to go there 10 times more. I'm like, I should buy some more. Fucking go there. Like, we're going to go there. Like, is my analysis not amazing? You take it literally, and it's just like gold. Absolute fucking gold. Any stop strike above this stupid blue line will take your position from you and recycle it into the institution's position. And they'll take it and keep it for you. Don't let them do that. Those bastards. You have to take some of their money. Like, don't pussy out. Nonetheless, here's the red yellow line I was talking about. We did go to it. We did come back down to the blue line. We did everything that we should do. Is it not true? No, the idea that the ask was drying up right there. I was going to say, didn't hit the ask very hard because everybody was trying to take it. I mean, there's a lot of volume. And the ATR should still be freaking good, like what's going on there? Yeah. 15, I'll take it. Funny though too, because when I was like, oh, I should buy more, I know it's gonna get there. Like, rewind a few bit. I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do with that information? Did you do something with it? Did you use it? I hope so.
Milk that shit. It's funny too, because this is what everyone gets for having the discipline to make it to the right time of the day. I'm not here to entertain, but 12 o'clock goes around, I say nothing the whole day, and then boom, 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 hundreds of points on the table. But yeah, here we are again, having responded negatively to the 188-200 and to the red-yellow line. It is identifying that red-yellow line as a significant barrier again, and the most important threshold marker on the screen. Now just remember, the low was a 188-200, but it was also a red-yellow line. The high was a 188-200, and it was also the red-yellow line. So between both of these old red-yellow lines, the market chooses to move today. Don't you think it's funny that those lines were marked as ones that I see as important ones? And the market chooses to use them with importance. Now we have 3 highs into 3 lows with an expanding wedge. We do have 3 drives, so knowing that coming all the way back up to the to the first of the 3 could be really good. And there's also like a blue line up in here too, eh? I didn't mark it in that it's tiny. This one could be returned to, but I'm not like a huge fan of it. It's not the untested blue line of the moment. Now there's another yellow line, which is debatably one of the most important lines there is. It reminds me a lot of how we had so much space with this other major yellow line here. It was created from those 2 itty bitty highs at the top, just like this one was created from those 2 little highs at the top. Oh yeah, I just smoked out all those B points right there. I bought in a little bit early, but that's okay. Everything I bought, I managed to sell off with a profit. And there's still some B points a little bit higher, but you notice that it came all the way up to the blue line. Like that's what's up. And that's just because this environment, it does adhere to that kind of movement. And it's not and you know what's funny is it's totally like a fourth wave. Like, does it not look like 1, 2, right? 3's the biggest, 4 similar to 2, and then 5 could be a 3 drives pattern. The fifth wave, 1, 2, and 3 highs. The value of breaking the red yellow line is still incredibly high. Now, mind you, everything we ever do through the red yellow line could be taken back down to it in the form of a retest. And the irony is, as well, is the people that were shorting, they're basically, if they didn't see that that was the target, then they're put in a really tough position where they're being forced to sell for what's likely going to be a loss. We've already made more than a 61% retracement to the way up, it looks like here. So we'll take a look at that. We're at the 61 now. We're breaking it in favor of going to the red yellow line. Excellent. Hitting that red yellow line again. Wonderful movement, easy to gauge. The destination of this movement is far beyond the red yellow line, but this whole process that we can see here, like this was my favorite red yellow line from the beginning of the entire dump. And it's not a way that anyone would want to place it. It means that the people that were there were experiencing the entire consolidation and taking it literally, caring about it literally, and you can see like it grinded it so much here, basically made that giant S wave around it, and then did it again over here, grinded it so much, used it as an equilibrium, made an S wave around it again, and now we're here attacking it from the bottom side. It's never officially broken properly. It's never created an uptrend. It's never, stopped its association with this trend. It is the medium point. Every time that we do hit it, there's an incredibly high chance that we respond to it. And if you think about how many times it takes, right, to respond to it before breaking it, like all of this area here is what it took to get away from it so that it could do that. And then, over here, it's not very much, but you can see it spends a lot of time getting stuck to it before it actually can move away. And like over here as well, we've got this getting stuck to it, and now we're kind of stuck to it again in a way that it reminds me of the 188-200 I was talking about before, where we could go from here to here, and it would look like this movement that we did on the left and the head that happened between.
You know, sort of like this movement is actually happening here. So I find that interesting, all happening along the trajectory of the red yellow line, almost like when you make a head and shoulders that's not a normal neckline, but one that's following a declining trend line like that. That's the same kind of vibe that I'm getting, because two shoulders do exist, but not across a horizontal neckline. It's more of a triangle. So we're basically breaking the red yellow line right now. I'm not sure if it's going to actually explode through it. It's a possibility because there's been a lot of trouble in trying to break it. And I mean, worst case scenario, it does stuff like that, which is terrible. And I mean, we know now that, you know, enough profit has to be taken, like logically, anytime we run into that thing, what happens? What's happened every time since we started this trend? What's happened every time we run into it? Well, anything that's ever been taken up to it has been taken back. Anything that's ever been taken up to it gets taken back, you know? Like, and there's been no time that that's never happened. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what's funny? Is if we can get on top of this line and not do that, then we might not be doing this anymore. And the next thing to do after doing this is typically to change everything, including direction. Change the method that we're using as well. Like, first of all, there's a trend coming up now, right? Like, okay, these not going to do much for us having that trend in there. I'll take it off. This is the trend until it breaks. Sorry. It debatably is more important than any other trend on the screen. Next to it is the top line, which in its own could be like a red yellow line, but these red yellow lines clearly have incredible value from previous days. And you know what's so stupid about them? Is they're such tiny levels. Like that was how that one was created. It was just a tiny little trend, right? And it had such a big relationship. So a short-term trader that barely holds at all would see that trend and likely remove it, but it's incredibly valuable to longer-term moves, which is really interesting to me. And then we got this one up here too, right? Where it was just two little highs like that connected. And we didn't see it for so long. Got off the chart. Like people would be looking down here, they don't even see the red yellow line anymore. It's gone. And you know, at that time, we had a relationship with a trend line that was completely different. You see the blue and blue line? That kind of relationship reminds me of a tight knit kind of relationship, like what the same sort of relationship that we had with this red yellow one, where you know everything comes back to it, everything starts and ends at it. But what this was also that nothing else was a giant movement on the top and a chop here. The chop there was the blue line, the relationship with it. And then that same kind of movement on the other side, which is very similar to making a spike on the top and a spike on the bottom of a consolidation, except it's just on an angle. And it's allowed to do that, just like a head and shoulders could be on an angle, like we talked about before. It doesn't have to be perfect. So, but it can be. Like it's oftentimes not perfect. It's oftentimes something's wrong with it, and it looks funny. And you can tell it's trying to do that thing, but it's not doing it perfectly. And sometimes the ones that look the strangest work out the best. You know, you'd be surprised. And we all know clear ones can certainly fail. Nothing like a very clear head and shoulders. I'm almost scared of it. You know what I mean? I'm like, geez, don't touch that thing. But and that'll change. You know, the market environment that we're in right now is a very particular method of, you know, getting into these relationships with trend lines and making them the mean, making them the medium point, making that the point that when it reverts to the mean, it's actually reverting to a trend line. So, and I mean, you know what it did here? Like, wow, it's making the 5-wave move. We talked about that not too long ago. 1, 2, 3's the biggest. 4, similar to this move here, and then now we're on 5. And now when we do that, we have 1 high, 2 high, and 3 high. It's true. Now, when we get on top of a line like this, like when we're up there, we also get a blue line, you know? And if we get on top of that blue line in any which way, shape, and form, because of its steepness, it's incredibly likely that we come back down to it, even if we shot up like right to that top trend line. Now, between the two trend lines that we have right now, there is a triangle. Like, it's a fact that that top trend line combined with that bottom trend line contains us in an area with boundaries. The top line comes from the very beginning of the trend. The bottom line comes from the beginning of the uptrend. And both of them intersect at a point that makes them a triangle. But until we break one of those lines, we are contained within both of them. And it's a fact. So I'm like, oh, okay then. Yeah, I can't argue with that. But just to know that this is the domain, is it easy to move around in triangles? I mean, usually everything loves coming back to the mean. And even when we leave the stupid triangle, coming back to it is a really important thing too. So preparing for movements that are triangle related would be smart, which means like prepare yourself for patience, because it helps to know that you'll have to be patient in order to continue benefiting. And also, what we've done here is around that 61, is it not? And we've chopped it and chopped it and chopped it. Is it working? No. So, if it fails, where does it usually like to go? The 127, 141, and 113? That'd be this area. What else is in that area? The biggest B point? I'm like, well, kind of is. So that's interesting. I know one thing here though. In the event, right? Oops, that we go to this 261, there's nothing saying that we can't still use it to come back to the 188 200. Now, building all of this volume in here is almost like creating a platform to stand on. Clearly, it's moved on to the red yellow line chopping phase. And I tell you, remember every time we get connected with that thing, are we allowed to chop it? I mean, it's an understatement. That freaking thing can take all the volatility, scrunch it up, and throw it out the window. For like, look at how long it was here. So we were in association the first time with it for 5 hours and 21 minutes. The fuck is that? And then we come over here and we're like, okay, another 9 hours and 40 minutes. I'm like, whoa, are you kidding me? And then over here, this chop, like I would say we started associating with it here. That's when we hit it. We didn't stop till here. 4 hours and 13 minutes. I'm like, what is that? Well, is it not clear that they're long? Like they've benefited off of this movement. We haven't even gotten through half the trends yet. What do you think they would like to continue for them? I think that accumulation at the bottom was very clear to their plans, and holding has been the way of the day. And that's fair to say. Anybody that shorted from the initial consolidation that we had has been taken back. So I find that interesting. And it's also evident that when we made our 5-wave move down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-wave move down, it played out so well that it broke through the 61 and continued beyond it, which is something that's like a pretty significant statement. I said slow and steady wins the race at some point today, didn't I? Like it's true though. You got to have that mentality of like, you stare at your profit and loss, you'll be tempted to take the profit, make it easy for yourself. Don't have to worry about losing it. That's weakness, and I said it was weakness. I'm like, we got to push. And today's a serious day. I'm usually not this bullish. I'm like, you can't not see this one. You know what I mean? And I pretty much said everything I possibly could without telling you to fucking buy it. That's the name of the game. And pretty much, what's funny is I didn't say anything the whole day pretty much until we got down to the red yellow line. I was very quiet, but there was nothing to do. Like there was few short-term moves, like everything was short-lived. The dump and so on, you had to short into a movement that was already going down if you wanted to be a part of that, which I usually like. I don't like taking 1, 2, 3, 4, and then be like, oh, it's going to make a 5th wave, and then taking this down. I'm like, oh, that's so cringe. I'm like, what happened here? Why the fuck didn't you take that trend break? Like, what pattern was that? But you don't think that's going to happen again in the future, that you have to settle for something like this? Terrible. Because that 9 times out of 10, well, this is going to be taken back at least to there. you know, 1, 2, and 3. Like trading that movement is rough. Like it's almost like when people are taking a Head and Shoulders, right? And they want to take this movement up because they know it's going to be the right shoulder. I'm like, dude, you're taking a pattern that's designed to take it down. And sometimes we know. Sometimes we freaking know it's going to fail. And if you know it's going to fail, then that's not so bad. But I'm just like, geez, it could be easier than to choose trades like that. And it doesn't mean that along the journey at some point that you might not be compelled, or you might be compelled, sorry, to take trades like that because you're comfortable with them. But that's not the kind of trade I would want people getting comfortable with first. Like the kind of trade I want you getting comfortable with are the ones that I'm talking about. Like I mentioned, it was 175 points to get up to the target when we were down there. You know what I mean? So, and then when we made the 61, I'm just like, it's a fucking load up point. What did I say? The collection point? That's what I said. It was a collection point. You know, we're just coming down to collect them. And I told you, I'm like, they're all a bunch of idiots. I'm like, we're going to go and take their shares. I was like, don't let the institutions fucking make all this money without you, because I see their plan. And they're really slow about it, really methodical about it. They're like, nothing's happening. Don't worry. You know, just sell out. Don't worry. You know, nobody's been safe shorting for a long time. And that's ironic because they thought they were so safe in the morning, but everything that they had was taken from them. Not everything, but unless you were like super aggressive shorting from the fucking bell, I don't, you would be shorting from low of day on the open too, pretty much. Isn't that right? Yeah. So market's been falling, 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 falling. We get the open here and you're shorting for more continuation on the open. That's tough. I mean, I don't usually go for that play for my first trade of the day. That's not a good first trade of the day. You can get screwed on that. Can you remember last time it dumped like that from the open? It's been a while. So that hasn't worked in a long time. And everything that did work about it was shortly taken back after it worked too, which is kind of a kick in the nuts. So we're spiking through the top of the 261 on the easiest trading day of the year easily. But only because of patience was it easy. Like at the end of the day, that 188, 200 is fully played out, and all we've got are these big B points. That's why I was saying holding overnight. You know, like what do you think they're fucking doing? Look at this move. Everything that anyone did to make money on shorting today has been taken back. Not a single short seller, unless it's pre-market. All the people that thought today was bearish because they couldn't make it till noon were suckered out of a really good long position. You know, that's the beauty of it. Is it's a long-term hold for a long time. I didn't have to look at the long term to do that. Like I know there's B points all the way up here, all the way up there. I know there's an all-time high we can get to at some point. What a better point to do it from than this one? A point where you can count on the fact that people are timid about holding overnight because all the stuff's up in the air and America's, you know, in turmoil with the government shutdown and all the starving people and all the, you know, problems and shit. And I'm like, oh, okay. Watch the market go up through all those fucking stupid problems that everyone is clearly going to fix, or if not, it's America's downfall and all those people are going to starve to death. But something tells me that they're not. But Jesus, this move ever good. 261 to 188 could be on the table with this one too. So I put that there to remind that no stop should be dragged in those areas whatsoever. Like you can see the 188 200 was used as a platform here after coming back from somewhere like the 140 or 241. I was talking about the 241. So everything I said about the last one is actually happening on this one up here, which is really interesting to me because, you know, pretty much you just have to understand where you know you can't drag your stop. Like if you ever drag your stop within the distance of this much of the high, you're very likely to get knocked out because that's the distance that we pull back when we pull back. Is it not true? Now, the other distance, where obviously if you're not safe to drag that distance, if you drag it within this distance, you'll survive half as much of the time. If you can't handle that pullback, then you're going to get knocked out significantly quicker. Like this pullback over here and this pullback here, they're designed to keep your stop safe, not to make you into a bear, you know? Because the B points are all higher, and I made it incredibly clear that I want to hold through the overnight session, even if I hedge it at the end of the day, which I will. And that's at the end of the day specifically. If I go back and make a video, you'll hear that it's the end of the day. So all of today is being milked with a long trade. And when I see how much it takes to make an advancement today, they're not screwing around. Like, it doesn't take a long time at all. In fact, the higher that we went, this chop right here, it made so many people sell out because it got so slow. They're like, oh, I think I'll just finish my day. And then look, it moved faster and harder than ever before. There's no time that we've advanced that quickly in this trend. It almost took half the time that it did to make that trend. And over here, even I guess that's the closest move, but we were still quicker than the beginning of the trend, which is interesting to me. Doesn't mean that a significant portion of the movement that we're in may be overlapped to get back to the triangle at any given time, but no stops should be placed above the triangle. No stops, I said, should be placed above the red yellow line. Like, we should be allowed to endure a trade that or a movement that goes both sides of the triangle. We should be able to endure a test of the red yellow line. And I'm like, well, how much do we usually like to move away from the red yellow line before coming back? Could you handle this? Could you handle this? Like how many points away does it move before? It moved 129 points away before it even thought about coming back. And then it moved, 184 points away before it even thought about coming back. And that just shows some perspective on where do you think you're safe then? We have to exceed all of those prior movements to truly be safe from returning back to that level. We've done 168 now. I want to see above 200 points, above 250 points away from that sucker. I want it to be so far into the ground that there's no fucking way we're ever going to return back to that thing. You know what I mean? So that's the way that I'm looking at it, because there's no better way to have this trade go than to detach and be away from that line forever. And at some point, for example, you want to know where that red yellow line is going to be on Monday? Where do you think it's going to be? How hard do you think it's going to drop? Because let's just imagine that we were still in the relationship with it, 1,000 minutes from now. It will have dropped another 333 points, and it will be at a new low. That would be 16 hours. So every 16 hours, we've got to drop 300 points. And does that make sense? Let's look at another area. 16 hours? Yeah, right around 300 points. Is it not true? 16 hours, 300 points. So in order to continue with this red yellow line, every 16 hours, we have been dropping 300 points. You know what I'd like to see? I want to see it go farther than 200 points for more than 16 hours without returning back to that line. Because it's true that when we do spend time away from this stupid line, like we spend this time away regularly. Look at it here. Look at it here. Is it not true? Like, that's the time we spent away. That's the time we spent away. Now over here again. Why? Why that much time? Specifically that much time. And I'm like, oh, okay. Other times we could do it quicker. Sure. But they showed me that time again. 3 times we've done it. And is there any time that's longer that we've spent away than that time? Can you see another time where we've spent more than that away? No. So doesn't that paint a picture of, oh shit, yeah, if we spend more than that amount of time away, which is how long? I don't know. 6 hours and 35 minutes. 6 hours and 35 minutes above that trend line without seeing it again, and we're in business. We may have a trend as big as it to form after. Maybe we turn this into a B point and double the entire downwards move that we've had on top of that level, which could mean an incredible movement. Like, imagine we went all the way back up 1,100 points. We could make it double that, and we'll be in the red zone. I treated it like that today. I haven't touched it in a long time since I sold some there.
You're gonna hold it over the weekend?
Yeah, but I'm gonna hedge it though. So we'll use an example like 3. Let's say like 3 NQs, and if I short 30 MNQ, then I can hold the 3 NQ and 30 MNQ and just sell the 30 MNQ as soon as the market opens again. I'm exposed. I don't have to re-enter and I can still get my NQ position and continue it without being exposed to the overnight session. So for every NQ you have, you can go 10 MNQ against it, or Sunday rolls around, I can sell the 30 MNQ and continue holding with no risk having been taken to hold over the weekend. Essentially, it makes the position flat through the weekend, but I get to keep my average price. And that's the benefit of it, because when, like, let's say on Sunday, if the market opens significantly higher, it's going to be in the middle of this big dump. And it's going to be close to the B points. It's going to be close to the 61. It's going to be a huge movement up. And I mean, like, most people are going to be trying to short into it, because they're going to remember how much shorting worked for them. A lot of people quit before 12 today. It's easier to quit on a Friday too. People think that Fridays are naturally bearish as well, which is stupid, but that's the way. And I could just see a lot of, like, this was a trick to get rid of the stupidest people, in my opinion. And that's what I think. We've even taken the 5-wave move and like really like failed it and made it clear that the institutions truly did benefit off of that advancement. Now that we chop up here, we can still see that the bears are struggling. But the thing that makes sense is that it would come down to the blue line, and it did. And we know that no stops were safe above it. I can hedge 30 MNQs at the end of the day, and I wake up on Sunday, right? And it's down at the 61. I can sell my 30 MNQs for a profit and continue holding the 3 NQs. Literally not have to find a position. All I have to do is exit the 30 MNQs.
And I'm not going to take them until the very, 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 very end of the day, till the last moment that I can. And there's always enough liquidity for 30 contracts. That's why I choose that. There's always enough liquidity for 3 contracts on NQ. But it's basically, it's a situation where you don't have to re-buy into the middle, because everybody else is going to be offered shit on Monday. I think it's going to be in the middle. We could have a triangle day in the middle where everyone gets buffered out. So what happens when we do that is, like, let's say we do continue on and it ends up being a big triangle. A lot of the people that have benefited from this upwards push, they're going to sell in that sideways area. And then after that sideways area, it's likely that these gentlemen at the bottom that have taken us up have just been patient through that triangle, and that they're going to continue to benefit off of upwards movement.
But yeah, no, the 261 led to the 188. The trend broke back up to the B points. We hit every single B point in that little area down there as well. And we also went from equal distances on either side of the blue line. I don't know if I mentioned, but we went from the 141 back up to the 61, but also we're at the new 61. So that's that new 61. And it's funny because the 188-200, when it got a chance to be used, it was used to break the trend back up to the 61. An M played out. We created a little bit of a W. You have to watch out for the return back to the B point there. It's already kind of happened, but it could happen from an actual, respectable fib as well. So it's just good not to drag stops in the middle of the consolidation generally anyways. Getting on top of the blue line could easily be a ticket back down to it. Beware of any stops dragged above the blue line, or even the red zone itself until we're clear of it. Is unsafe for stops to be dragged in the short term. In this area, we've been prone for consolidating, and hitting many of the B points has been on the table. This one, it has technically already been hit, but it's out there still for maybe another test. We have to watch out for it. It'd be stupid to put a stop above that if you want to keep your position. Is it allowed to move around in the middle of the consolidation? Well, I'd surely hope so, right? Okay, I see some interesting movement on that candle. So interesting how little volume there can be. Like, look at these numbers in these candles. You saw how quick that moved up there. Obviously, somebody's fucking buying it, right? But it ain't happening on NQ. Look at how many, on just one contract. So that means you buy one contract, market moves. I'm like, yeah, go nuts. Go move it then. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. You can trade 16 contracts. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't fucking matter, actually. That's the crazy part about it. Like, I know for sure. Like, nobody was trading halfway through this candle. like you can see the delayed response. Like, it shot up, and then everyone's like, oh, I better start trading. And then they all get this like area in here. Most of the people just ended up trading in there. And then we shot up again, and I'm like, it's on ones and twos. Like, look at where most of the volume is. Most of the volume is after the fact that it's moved. Like, oh shit, it moved, scramble, you know? And then you can see it like moves, and then people get a second to click, and then they all click up here. That's where most of them clicked in there. Some of them got up here, but we're making a 3 drives pattern too, which is kind of interesting. You know, it's certainly not safe to put your stop above that POC. ATR hanging around 16, 17. Yeah, so it just came down. It like shat on the POC right there, basically. It had a 3 drives pattern back down to the POC. You know, and I said the POC, not the first of the 3 highs. That can get snuffed. We go down to that POC there, and it's like staring at everyone. You know what I mean? Can't have that. Like that was a clear. You know, it would have been stupid if you drag your stop into that candle. Like you know it's gonna happen. Isn't it funny how it's like, oh, the only thing that we did was slap the people on the wrist for dragging their stops into that area. It's unacceptable. You know what I mean? First of all, we're on top of a red zone. What do we like to do? What's the word for it? Smash it. Do we feel like we've been smashing the red zone? I mean, like certainly in here. It could start blasting as well, so be careful. We could be on the brink of a breakout, ladies and gentlemen. And the imbalance is hot. I think they might be trading the imbalance today. I think the institutions are circling like sharks. They're circling. The prey is the short sellers. Like, you know what the juice is all the fucking volume up in here. Everyone that was short just waited for it to come back, and now they're like, oh god, what's gonna happen? And we got a bunch of orders, kind of like this, going all the way up. So how high will we go? We're gonna break 150. We're gonna break out. You know, breakout, breakout, breakout. Hit the ask a little bit. Oh, the ask is all dried up. Oh, there we go. Collected the ask. Beautiful. Watch out for the return to the blue line as well. We've created new ones. Danger. Danger. They can be pretty bouncy. We've left some B points up in that little area there too. I'm curious to see how we deal with them. It's kind of invisible on the 1 minute, but they do exist. And they're usually neglected, but or negligible, whatever you want to say. And there's also one down here too, and I'm looking at it. Oh, and also there's a major B point here too we have to watch out for. The fibs associated with it. That right is a B point, which is kind of a hard one to see. You know what it reminds me of? It's kind of close to the 61. Yeah, the B point in 61 area. We can see that above the chart here, the 127, 141, and 113 are still associated with that 61. We know that the 261 and 188 are both associated with this B point down here. And it kind of highlights that general area as an area that could be attacked. In doing that, it will make a pattern that kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders as well. So I'm curious about that. Usually that's a shit place for it to play out, but today it's with great benefit to the institutions for it to go up. So hedging it could be on the table for the weekend for them as well. We're about to get the imbalance in like 40 seconds or whatever. So there could be some movement around the imbalance. I can see that even in the formation of this little area down here, we made left head and have yet to make any kind of right shoulder attempt, you know, which could correspond equally to the inverse head and shoulders that we just had there. If I take all the fibs off, you know, I might be able to see a little bit clearer. That is the case. Inverse head and shoulders to head and shoulders potential. Now, we're popping up to make that right shoulder. We hit the B point. All these B points have now been cleared too. And it benefits them for it to go up. So I would be curious to see what they do here. What do you know? They want to make some more money today, don't they? Yes. Couldn't help myself. Wanted to pull back on the imbalance. Sold it off at the top of this little move here, and I'm going to get some more. Move it even higher. See if we can get it all the way to the blue line. It's itching to make similar pullbacks to the one that we made on the way up here. It's invisible on the 1 minute, but it's pretty clear on the 5 second. Ask is getting dried up a little bit there again. Same thing that happened at the top. Just happened right there, which is interesting, but it's in the middle though. Almost a 61% retracement, if not a 61% retracement, yeah. So we just went 61 to 61 to end the day here. Well, we haven't ended it yet, but this 61 just hit that 61. Like we came down to a 61, then we came up to a 61. I'm like, that's the way. You know that pattern where we go up, down, and then up again. And we've got 3 new highs into 3 new lows. And I drew it like crap, but that thing has happened a lot today. Like this high, that low, this high, that low, this high, that low. I'm like, what is that? Is that this kind of motion? Where, it's a little different, sure, but they could blast again too. They're thinking about it. They're like, you know what? I really want to just make more money today. I'm like, I feel that too. Gotta be careful with these guys at the close though. They're playing the game right now. Just keep that in mind. Maybe something's supposed to happen over the weekend and they know about it because they're certainly fucking on it right now. And this is a point where people have been shorting the 61. We're just stacking stops above, So we really do have significantly more orders to go fill on the top than we do on the bottom. They're almost paving a path of liquidity through this freaking little range here, Like, what is that? Nothing on the bottom? Okay there. See what happens. Because something tells me all those freaking people are shortstops. Shortstops. Shortstop City. Up there. With all their little nodes. But you want to know what's funny? Shortstops are buy orders. If we trigger one, we could have a chain reaction of buy orders all the way up to that B point right there. And if you're trying to sell, what a better thing to have than a bunch of people buying right at the top, eh? Isn't it just set up perfectly? And they're like, if we just wait here a little bit longer, maybe more people will short it, and they'll just be like adding to the big clump that we need. Have we got enough? Have we got enough up there? Who knows? We'll see. Fast tape going on right now. That fast tape knocking on the door. Knocking on the door of their stops. They are just freaking out. They were profitable too, and they didn't do anything about it. Crazy. No time left too, and that's interesting. Like pushing them into a corner, almost. Now, if they were people trying to sell, then maybe we blast through that area right after the bell. But it looks like that's the cushiony area up to the B point. Like if we look at the B point on the chart that has the volume profile, let's see if there's a gap in between the B point and where we are. Not really. We're in an area right now that that gap is full of fucking volume that people want to buy there. I'm like, why do you want to buy there? I'm like, buying has been great all day, but there, I'm like, come on. And I want to see higher. I want to see more. But we've got a lot of people trading up into the close. And clearly the institutions couldn't hold themselves back, could they? But I know them, I know them. I know what they're doing. And they did want to make some more money today, didn't they? Look at them go. We're at the high now. Knocking on the door of that big stop. Got all these big old orders there. People want to buy at the high, apparently. Let's see what happens to them. Because something tells me they're going to get fucked. Pardon my French. One of them just moved his order even higher. And that's a really bad play. Like, oh, he's freaking out. He's moving in his order all over the place. So right now, it's like this. And then he moved it right now again. Like that. Oh, and now he's moved it a little bit down more. People are, oh, no, he just moved it up again. Multiple people, like, I think he's freaking out. Like, the same guy is taking it up to here now. Which, I mean, you can see, brings it close, he brings it far, he brings it close. Now, they're all clumping in around 2162 right now. That's where they all are, all those people. And he's not afraid to move his stop around. That's for sure. But that's what it looks like right on top of that high right there. It's 70, so we're at 25,147. Yeah, we get to 170, we would clear all of them out. All those people. 170, they're freaking out. They're freaking out. We're coming for them. It looks like it's crazy. End of day, that's why I said not to hedge it until the exact end of day, like literally when fucking 455 or so comes around. That's when I want to take the hedge. We freaking ate these people alive. Oh, there's still some. There's still some. You know, they backed their orders off, so now they're gonna be liquidity even higher. It's gonna cost them even more money. It's gonna cost them even more money. Like we still have that on top of us right now, and like we're approaching it like this. So them backing their stops off has really put them in a tough spot. And you know how big those orders are? Like that small one down there is 40 contracts, total of 50 with other people there. This one here is 60 contracts, and we've got 45s and so on up there. But yeah, that's like it's about to close too. So we cleaned out that B point. We made some more B points over here. We got to watch out for as well. No stops to be dragged above those highs. But I tell you, today has been a day where the institutions have also worked all day. And you don't let them learn. You don't let them benefit. You know, don't let them get away with this shit. You know, because this was clear. Like I knew that they were gonna fucking do that at the end of the day. There, very, 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 very clear. And you just gotta milk it. Today has been a day where they've been milking it. Today's the day where they're gonna enjoy their weekend, as everyone should. We're milking it. You know, so it's good. It's good. And I plan on seeing a lot more of this happening throughout the next week. Like, geez, you know what's funny? You might not have to work on Monday if you hold. You might not have to work. America could be on fire and the market could still go up. Like, as long as Trump doesn't do anything too stupid, we should be all right. Well, yeah, hopefully you guys have a wonderful weekend. That's the close for you there. And I'll catch you guys later.